I love my wife very much, but we're from different cultures. In hers, if a person needs something you have, you give it to them. If you need something, you get a job, get paid, and buy what you need. While I earn most of our income, my wife runs a day home and takes care of our kids and the house. We take our money and pay our bills, put some away for emergencies, our retirement, kids' education, etc. We also keep an account for travelling to visit her family or paying for her mom and dad to visit us. My wife has given away a bunch of my stuff because her family needed it. She gave my trekking backpack to one of her cousins because he needed one. She could have bought him a $30 Costco backpack instead of giving away my $400 backpack, which he promptly got stolen. The last straw was my laptop. I was away for the weekend at a friend's wedding that she didn't want to attend. Her auntie was visiting and said my wife's brother needed a computer for schoolwork. Since all I ever did was play games on it, she gave it to her brother for university. I tried to get it back. She said it would be rude. I explained that the only reason she saw me do with it was play games was because I was home. When I leave in the morning and take it with me, it's to earn money doing a job I'm paid for. She said I don't have to talk to her like she was dumb, but she refused to ask for it back. I replaced it with money from the travel fund, meaning we will not see her parents this Christmas. She's angry. She said that I took that money that belonged to both of us to buy myself something. I asked her where the money should come from. Should I take it out of our retirement? Our kids' education? Does she want to put off replacing the furnace with winter almost here? I said I could cancel that if she wanted. She said that I could have just put it on the credit card. I asked her to explain where the money to pay the credit card would come from. She thinks I'm treating her like an idiot. She needs to stop giving my things away. Am I the idiot for replacing any property of mine that my wife lends out or gives away from our travel savings? Not the idiot. It's easy to be generous when giving away stuff that isn't yours, but as soon as it affects her suddenly, it's a big deal. And her ideas about credit cards being free money? This is pure and utter financial incompetence from your wife. Your wife needs a knowledge bomb slap in the face of currency, finances, and budgeting. She doesn't even understand money as a concept based on her actions. She has no idea about the value of money, what you bring home, how money supports your life, or anything. The real solution is to sell off her property until you recoup the costs of her generosity. But given her ideas about credit cards being free money, I'd say you have a more significant financial issue in your marriage. Personal property is the individual owner's property. It's not joint marital property just because you're married. She needs to learn the difference. Maybe put it on her magical card. She is an idiot. Or she can get a temporary part-time job to cover the cost of replacing them. Each time she gives something away, it extends the time she needs to continue working. Let's see how long it takes for the penny to drop. There's a pretty big difference between I gave away some of the kids' old clothes that don't fit them anymore and I gave away your goddamn computer with God knows what personal work or financial files on there. Absolutely psychotic. Oh, she's not an idiot. She knows exactly what she's doing. That's why when it affects her, she understands. She's a gold digger and is siphoning his wealth to her family. No one gives away a $400 backpack to someone and they instantly lose it. OP, check your Facebook marketplace or pawn shops. She's stealing from you. Your marriage is not as good as you seem to think. That's such a good point. She absolutely is stealing from him. She thinks her family is more important than the one she created with her and her husband. And looks like the family knows where to go when they want free, expensive gifts. I'd be angry if I couldn't even trust leaving my house due to my spouse. Does she give away money also? OP, this has got to stop. The next thing she gives away, you're reporting it's stolen. I, 45 female, have been a stepmother to Lucy, nearly adult female, for the past 2 years. I also have a son, Jack, teen, from my previous relationship. For the first 18 months, I knew Lucy. She was in love with junk food. She would use the money she would get from babysitting the neighbours' kids to buy cookies, chips and ice cream all the time. It was very unhealthy how much of that crap she was eating. I tried to politely encourage her to switch to something healthier that still tasted good, like yogurt, but she would always respond with, "You're not my mom," and "Stop controlling my body." Because of this, she's put on a lot of weight. Anyway, about 6 months ago, she argued with a boy in school. They called each other names and he ended up calling her a hippo. That made her self-conscious and she's been trying to improve her health since then. She threw out all our junk food at home and tried to exercise 3 or 4 times a week. She's been making steady progress and I'm happy she's been taking care of herself. My son, however, has recently taken a liking to Doritos chips. He doesn't eat a lot of it, a packet every other week. He mostly eats them in his room, so Lucy hasn't seen him eating them. But a few days ago, he was watching a TV show downstairs and decided to eat his chips. I was cooking in the kitchen, but then I heard an argument, so I ran out to figure out what was going wrong. Lucy was mad at Jack for eating chips and told him to throw them out because she was trying to lose weight. My son said he can eat whatever he wants. I tried to calmly tell Lucy that Jack is allowed to eat in a common space, and if what he's eating is tempting her, she can nicely ask him to put it away, or she can go to another room until she finishes if he declines her request. That made her angrier, and she accused me of playing favourites and sabotaging her progress. This made me angry because I've done nothing but support her these past few months. I firmly told her that she was almost 18 and needed to grow up and accept that not everyone would follow her diet, especially in their homes. She cried to her mom, who's now blowing up my phone, calling me a witch for not supporting her daughter. My husband, her dad, is on my side, but after sleeping on it, I think I could have used a gentler tone. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Her being on a diet doesn't mean other people must diet as well. If she can't eat chips, that's fine. It doesn't sound like other people are trying to force her to eat them. But if her argument is, I'm on a diet so chips can't be in the house, that only flies if it's her house. If she wants to control what food is in her residence, she must be the sole person paying for the residence. Right? What happens if she goes out to eat with friends? Tell them and everyone else in the restaurant that they can't eat anything unhealthy. It's better to learn that she can't control others' food choices now than have a much less forgiving stranger scream at her in public if she tries to pull something similar with them. It's kind of ironic she accused OP of controlling her stepdaughter's food choices and body and was furious about it, but it's okay if she does control the food choices and bodies of others. I'm going to get downvoted for this, but you are the idiot. Lucy goes from eating junk food constantly and gaining a lot of weight quickly after you moved into somebody making fun of her, and now she's suddenly dieting significantly to the point where even seeing other people eating that food is triggering to her. And nobody thought that maybe she had an eating disorder. Nobody passed out that perhaps she was eating more because she just had a large shift in family dynamics not too long ago and could be stressed or upset. These are concerning behaviours around food. Somehow nobody has thought to sit her down and maybe ask why food is a touchy topic for her. It sounds like you have some growing up to do. I recently bought a semi-detached house and it's proving to be a lot more work than anticipated. We're having to rip everything down to its bonework. My new neighbours are a bit elusive. I know there's at least a dad and a daughter, and the daughter has additional needs. We've been working for 3 months and she has screaming fits every time we work with anything remotely noisy. There's also a son, and I know there is at least a mom somewhere, but I've never seen her. Recently we've moved to the bathroom, which lines up with their daughter's bedroom. Now the bathroom has been the worst room yet. Everything has to go. Sink, bath, shower, toilet, windows, even the walls have to go. It's bad. We started 4 days ago. Immediately she started screaming so loud we could hear her over the tools and through our ear protection. When we continued the next day, her dad banged on our door, explained that she's autistic and we're invading her space. Apparently the vibrations through the wall shook something off a shelf and broke. I apologised and he seemed happy with that. Later that evening he came back, clearly in from work, and started laying into my brother, the one helping me, and me, calling us inconsiderate idiots, and left again. Yesterday he was red in the face with rage, asking if we're really that heartless to keep overwhelming her. I did catch sight of his daughter, and she did look distraught, so I apologised again but explained that I had to do it. Today he came knocking again and demanded we move on from our drilling. He explained that his daughter hasn't been able to recover from meltdowns and that it's been a constant battle for days. He and she are both exhausted. I apologised again but told him it was his job as a father to help her cope and we shouldn't have to hinder our work for a child we don't even know. He left really angry and my wife has been giving me the cold shoulder ever since. We're expecting and she's calling me an idiot, saying we would expect the same decency when our baby arrives. I understand why the dad is annoyed, but I'm on a time crunch and my brother and I are doing this solo, obviously excluding the hired help for things I'm not well versed in. We're continuing with our work, but my wife still isn't talking to me. She called me an idiot, and I've been delegated to the couch. The neighbours also seemed pretty angry when we left. So, am I the idiot? Edit, I work, so I work on the house whenever I can. It's not really something I can adapt to. I usually get to the house at about 5 p.m. and always stop before 11 p.m, as is the law here. But drilling I do keep to before 8 p.m. She's around mid-teens and is definitely still awake at 11 p.m, regardless. I can hear her music and TV show and occasionally her calling for someone for whatever reason. You're doing this between the hours of 5 and 11? You are the idiot. Wow, dude, no one wants to come home from work to put up with that noise. If you can't work on it during regular hours, you should have hired someone else to do it. Living next to this construction noise every night from 5 to 11 p.m. would be a nightmare no matter what. You indicate that you're doing a tear-down DIY reno on an attached house exclusively after work hours with just one other person. So construction starts at 6 p.m. and lasts long past a typical kid's bedtime because quiet hours legally start at 11 p.m. And you're doing this for weeks on end. Instead of hiring help and blasting through sooner or taking work days off, you save money but your neighbour suffers greatly. I hope they don't take pleasure in waking your sleeping baby. Exactly, Opie is starting a war and they haven't even moved in. Of course his wife is mad. Imagine having a newborn and trying to put it to sleep at a decent hour only to have loud neighbour noises. She knows it's coming. I'm honestly surprised none of the other neighbours have complained to you because I'd be angry if someone was doing major construction after 9 p.m. I co-parent a pre-tween boy with my ex. We share 50-50 custody with a specific custody calendar to ensure we both get the same amount of days with our son. Last year, my ex asked if I could give her my Christmas week in exchange for a week in the future because she wanted to go visit her family out of state and could only do it on the days I had my son. I said yes. From then on, she refused to give me my week back. She always had some excuse or wanted to do it when it worked for her. In other words, she scammed me out of custody time. I said, so be it. Earlier this week, she asked me again if she could have our son for the week of Christmas. I have him the week of, and she has him the week after, again to visit family. I said, of course, but you need to give me 2 weeks in return, one from last year and one for this year. And I get those 2 weeks before you get extra time so you can't screw me over again. One of those weeks can be the week of Thanksgiving when you have him. She refused and tried gaslighting me by saying she gave me back the week I gave up last year. LOL. I told her there was no room to negotiate. Take it or leave it. The next day, her boyfriend called me. He said he would propose this Thanksgiving, which is why my ex doesn't want to give up Thanksgiving. They both wanted to travel to see his family for Christmas and New Year and celebrate their engagement. That's why I can't have her Thanksgiving time and why she needs my Christmas week. I told him my custody arrangement was none of his business, and I don't have to explain crap to him. I'm not open to any custody changes anymore. You can tell my son's mom that you mess around and we'll find out. Now he's trying to walk back everything he said because he knows he screwed up by inserting himself into this matter. Of course, he said he was just trying to help out. Not the idiot. Her boyfriend has messed up big time by sticking his beak in. If she refuses to give you the time back you are owed, you are within your rights to refuse any further custody changes. My brother has exactly the same issue with his ex and his 2 boys. She expects him to be flexible for her, but not vice versa. Her boyfriend probably tried to help and may not have been aware of her screwing you over before. She may have told him that she'd already been even with you and the custody time, so I wouldn't be mad at him. It's a good thing that he wants the kids involved instead of pushing the kids out of their life to start a new family. I'd appreciate that. They both know about Thanksgiving and have planned Christmas to celebrate with family. BS! If he's planning on proposing, he would have been in the picture last year and know exactly what happened and is going on. Opie is well within his rights to be angry at someone interfering in custody matters. And he can want to include Opie's kid all he wants, but he doesn't get to do it by taking custody time away from Opie. There's absolutely no reason the boyfriend has to propose at Thanksgiving. Any day of the year will do just fine. My teenage brother came to visit me along with our dad. My mom joined a couple of days later, and altogether they stayed for about a week. Brother is autistic and prefers to eat fried chicken for every meal. He'll have rice and some curries sometimes too, but 85% of his meals are fried chicken. I was making prawn pasta from scratch for my dad, and my brother asked if I could make him some because he liked the look of it, so I did. I have frozen chicken tenders in the freezer, so if he hates it, I could have made those quickly for what it's worth. My mum hates prawns, so they don't eat them at home. She's decided though that means nobody in our family likes prawns. Anyway, when she arrived, my brother started raving about the pasta I made for them, and as soon as he mentioned that it had prawns, my mum lost it. She started yelling at me, saying I was inconsiderate of my brother's needs, and that I should have just made him a fried chicken burger instead of trying to force him out of his comfort zone. It's been weeks and she's still mad at me over it, even more so today because apparently little bro asked her to get the recipe from me. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. If your brother asked to eat some of the food, ate it, and liked it, there's no problem. You had a backup option for his favourite meal if or when he didn't like what you cooked. Sounds like your mother was mad you made a food your brother enjoyed and she doesn't, so she doesn't want to have to cook it for him. I bet there are other foods she's kept from your brother because she doesn't like those foods. I have a feeling that your brother is as tired of his monotonous diet as you are. Your mom might be using his condition as an excuse to avoid much effort to cook for him.